Alright, Shalom. First, start by saying all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well. And salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. As you can see, the title of this video is Police. It says, woman critically wounded amid hail of gunfire in Ravenswood. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip and add the precepts.
Chicago police on the hunt for another shooter tonight. Someone opened fire in the Ravenswood neighborhood this afternoon, critically injuring a woman in her 20s in the back of a home.
WGN's Rona Tumulty is joining us from the north side with more on this tonight. Rona?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, those living in the Ravenswood, Lincoln Square area stunned today to hear gunfire erupt right on their doorstep in the middle of the afternoon.
We heard the gunshots. We weren't sure what it was at first. It sounded like something was falling from the building. It rattled the building that much, like it shook the building.
A flurry of rapid fire heard and felt by those living in the Ravenswood area this afternoon.
The one neighbor said she did see someone had a long gun, some kind of semi-automatic. I mean, it was a lot.
As a shootout erupted in this alley under the L.
It was a shootout. They were shooting at each other.
Neighbors said 3 men were spotted walking down here this afternoon around 2:30 when they started shooting at each other.
There were 2 people shooting at one person, vice versa. They were shooting at each other.
And we're talking dozens of bullets.
I guess they said there's over 40 bullets throughout the cars and the garages and the woman.
That woman, a 24-year-old, lives here and was seemingly caught in the crossfire, struck in the chest and taken to Swedish hospital.
Either she was in the car or out of the car, we're not sure, but her friend then drove her to the emergency room.
People in the neighborhood say they've seen a lot of activity here associated with the victim's house.
Because there's constantly cars coming in and out of there, speeding down the alley at all, times.
But never anything like this, and not at this time of the day. When the shooting stopped, we're told at least 2 suspects fled onto nearby Leland Avenue, where police were reportedly alerted to someone trying unsuccessfully to carjack a taxi.
The taxi cab company had called them saying someone had almost carjacked one of their drivers, but the driver got away.
Now, we noticed earlier that at least some bullets hit a nearby garage. We spoke with the owner of that garage. He says his car was not hit, it was parked inside. We haven't either heard about any other injuries aside from that 24-year-old woman who at last check was in critical condition, and police telling us no one is in custody. Live at the police station in Western, Rona Tumulty, WGN News.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you act...
Right, so that's judgment of Yahweh Shai, man, because you women are at ease in Babylon, man. Y'all wicked as hell. Y'all endorse the LGBT community. Y'all don't want to be righteous. Y'all don't want to fall up under y'all husband. And y'all walking around like complete whores, man. Everywhere you turn, when it get hot out, right now, besides the tight jeans and everything, if you go on TikTok or go on a lot of these women on Instagram accounts, they naked on their pages, basically, man. They got OnlyFans pages, etc., man. This place is wicked, and you women are falling into that trap and going with it and rebuking anybody that's trying to tell y'all to do right. But, the job of the prophets is for the men, man. So, and it's a lot of you women gonna die because y'all don't want to adhere to the truth. What the fuck, man? But, I got one more clip. This judgment for you women, man. Y'all not
Tonight,
exempt.
the hunt for the killer in a Queens, New York murder continues. Now, law enforcement offering an up to $3,500 reward for information on the case. Surveillance video shows a shadowy figure rolling a duffel bag in darkness. Police say inside that bag, the remains of 51-year-old Orshaya Gall.
What were your immediate feelings when you heard what happened, especially given how brutal it was?
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
And it's a beautiful neighborhood, but this is like very shocking that happening here.
Now, multiple law enforcement sources say they've identified yet to be named persons of interest in her brutal homicide who likely had access to the house, and they're looking into several potential suspects. Detectives interviewing those who knew Gall and investigating forensic evidence, including a trail of blood. Police say the crime started here at the Juno Street house of Gall, a mother of two. Her husband, Howard Klein, and eldest son were away Friday for a college visit, according to police. Her husband posting in a now deleted tweet that the pair were traveling. Law enforcement then say Gall was stabbed at least 58 times, with additional injuries likely from self-defense. The suspect then put Gall's remains in a duffel bag and allegedly rolled it half a mile away from her home to this area where her remains were found. Police sources telling NBC New York the killer then sent Gall's husband a threatening text from her phone around 5 a.m. on Saturday. WPIX reporting that text saying, quote, "Your whole family is next." Hours later, police say somebody found the duffel bag and called 911. Authorities following the trail of blood to Gall's home, where they say they made an emergency entry, found blood, and her 13-year-old son on the top floor.
It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Gall, often pictured with her dog, now remembered by her neighbors like Mike Baker. He says he'd see her out with her dog regularly.
Closer to home is the part that is really shocking. I mean, we're about 200 feet away. And to know that kind of thing happened.
That shock rippling online as friends remember her, one saying, "We were just on the phone together just days ago speaking about colleges. My heart is broken," as her community attempts to piece a sense of safety back together.
Do you feel safe here?
It's just different.
Yeah, we don't know what
Different kind of
happened
safe.
yet,
We don't know what happened.
All right, Zinclay joins us now live from Forest Hill, Queens. So, Zinclay, there's now a reward out for information about the homicide. And do we know anything more about this potential killer?
Yeah, Tom. So what we know is police say that they do believe this was not a random attack, so there is no immediate threat to the public. That say, days later, they still have not publicly released the names of any persons of interest. I've spent the day walking around the neighborhood, again, talking to community members. Many of them say this is an affluent neighborhood where crimes do not happen, and they're confident that this was an isolated incident. That said, anytime anything like this happens, it's traumatic. You have law enforcement everywhere. You have media swarming. And I actually spoke to the neighbor of the Gall family, and she declined to speak on camera, but she said this is incredibly traumatic, and she wants people to know that Gall was a mother who loved her two children very much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Right, so, fuck it.